We all know that saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Mm,
But
right.
what happens when doing as the Romans do just goes completely against everything you believe in?
Yeah.
That's what we're going to be talking about today in
Sure,
our
yeah.
deep dive
Mm,
into
girl.
this excerpt that we have.
Right.
Uh, basically about how to stay true to yourself when you're
Right.
surrounded by tons of different cultures.
Absolutely.
And the source,
That's a great topic.
super interesting
Yeah.
because it uses this biblical story
Mm-hmm.
about these tribes who are returning to their land,
Right.
and they're specifically being told to not
Right.
adopt the practices
Yeah.
of the people who are already there.
Yeah.
So it's this really powerful image of holding on to your own identity,
Right.
even when you're in a totally new environment.
Exactly. And what do you make of this story being the starting point here?
Well, I mean, it really sets a strong tone right off the bat.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about maintaining your identity.
Right. Even when you're immersed in this new environment and the excerpt makes it clear that this isn't just ancient history, This is relevant to us today, whether we're starting a new job, moving to a new city, or even entering a new relationship.
Mhm.
Anytime we step into a situation with kind of unfamiliar rules, we face that same challenge,
Right.
how to adapt without losing ourselves.
It's so true. And this part really resonated with me. The excerpt talks about how, for believers, their laws, and the source defines this as like their divinely given principles and guidelines for living
Right.
remain constant no matter what's happening around them,
Right.
no matter the external situation.
Exactly.
But this doesn't mean like rejecting everything new outright,
Yeah.
right? Like, help me unpack this. How do we figure out which parts of a new culture we can embrace and which parts might require us to kind of hold firm to our own beliefs?
It's about discernment, isn't it? It's about really being thoughtful.
Yeah.
And I think the source gives a great example talking about dietary laws in the Old Testament.
Okay.
So, in ancient times,
Yeah.
these laws had really practical purposes related to health and hygiene.
Right.
But they also served as this kind of symbolic distinction,
Okay.
separating those who followed these specific guidelines from other cultures.
I see.
And today, it's less about specific rules and more about understanding the principles behind them.
Okay.
So, what are the core values
Ah.
that shape your decisions and actions? And if a cultural practice goes against those,
Yeah.
that's where you kind of draw the line.
So it's not about blind conformity or
Wow.
rigid isolation,
Exactly.
but it's about a more nuanced approach.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah.
And then the excerpt brings up this really well-known quote from Paul.
Yes.
I can do all things through Christ.
Mhm.
I mean, this quote gets used in so many ways.
Yeah. All the time.
What struck you about how the source connected it to navigating all these different cultures?
Well, what I thought was really fascinating was how the source uses that quote
Yeah.
to highlight the strength and resilience
Yeah.
that come from staying connected to your beliefs,
Okay.
especially when you're feeling out of place or you're feeling different.
Yeah.
It's not about becoming superhuman,
Right.
but it's about finding the courage
Yeah.
to be yourself, even when it's difficult.
It's like having that inner compass
Absolutely.
guiding you through all this unfamiliar territory.
Yeah.
But then the source throws in this warning.
Right.
Don't become a tin god in your comfort zone.
Yeah.
I mean, that image really stopped me in my tracks.
It's a powerful one.
What do you think the author meant by that?
Well, I think it's a caution against becoming so rigid in our beliefs
Okay.
that we shut ourselves off from growth.
Right?
Our comfort zones can become traps if we're not careful.
Mm-hmm.
It's like building a wall around ourselves.
So
Yeah.
refusing to consider new perspectives
Right.
or challenge our own assumptions.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But how do we avoid that? How do we stay true to what we believe while also being open to learning and growing?
I think it comes down to humility.
Okay.
Recognizing that we don't have all the answers,
Right.
that our understanding can always evolve.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also about remembering that our beliefs should guide us,
Mm-hmm.
not restrict us.
Yeah.
They should give us the strength to engage with the world,
Yeah.
not withdraw from it.
I've definitely had moments where I felt that tug of war
Oh, absolutely.
between fitting in and standing my ground.
Yeah.
It's a constant balancing act.
It is.
What about you? Have you ever found yourself in a situation
Oh, yeah.
where you had to navigate those conflicting poles?
All the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all face those challenges throughout our lives.
Yeah.
And, the source's final call to unflagging zeal makes me wonder,
Yeah.
does having that unwavering commitment to our beliefs?
Yeah. Make us more courageous in facing new situations?
Okay.
Or does it make us more cautious?
That is a really interesting question.
It is.
If our beliefs are really our guiding compass, how does that shape our approach to new challenges, relationships, even just trying new things?
Absolutely.
It's like that compass isn't just about pointing us in the right direction.
Right.
It's about giving us the confidence to explore, to step outside our comfort zones, and to really engage with the world around us.
Exactly.
So keep that compass close.
Yes.
And
definitely.
let us know what you discover in your own deep dive this week.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.